What's up everybody? In this video I'm going to show you how I place my Holeshot device on my fork guard. I have a race coming up and I haven't raced my bike since the rebuild of this bike, and even before. I think a normal race I didn't ride for 5 years. So it will be something new again, and I will ride my home track, so everything is familiar for me. So yeah, I'm very excited about it. So before we dive into the content, make sure to hit the like button to the moon for the YouTube algorithm.
After a crash, Justin Barcia won the first moto, and the runner-up ride in the second is more than enough to give him the overall victory.
And make sure to subscribe if you like this type of content. You can check out my channel. I have several rebuild videos of my KTM 250 SX. And I'm uploading racing videos as well, and I'm considering to film the next race that I have as well. So yeah, if you click the notification bell, you can stay up to date with my videos. So let's dive into the content and install the Holeshot device. So while I'm editing this video, I came to the conclusion that I forgot to tell you guys something. In one of my previous videos I already showed you that I started my own business, and I started my own brand DemDonuts, and we are selling grip donuts. And if you want to support the channel other than subscribing or liking the videos, yeah, you can take a look at DemDonuts.com, and I will put all the links to the products in the description of this video. So yeah, let's dive into the content now. So first I'm going to take my right fork guard off. So we got the fork guard off, so let me show you what you need, or at least what I use to place the Holeshot device. What you need to have in mind is that it's sitting like this on the fork guard, and you need to find a way to get the holes in the right spot on the fork guard. And as well, the bolts are conical. They have an angle on them, so they need to fall into the hole. They need to be flush with the plastic so they don't hit your front suspension. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure the holes that we need with some calipers, and then for the pin to come through, that's a bigger hole, we need to measure that as well to have all the correct sizes. And then for the 4 holes where the bolts come in through, we have some conical drills. I like to use those because if you are using big drills, it will bite into the plastic and it will destroy your fork guard. And this works nice and easy, and you can gently make the hole just so the bolt fits perfectly in there. So I have a drill set so I can build up the hole. I will begin with a smaller drill so I can determine if the holes are in the correct spot. And then I build up the size until I have the correct size of everything. And what it does, if you start small, you always have some room to deviate to the left or right or up or down if you're in the wrong spot. So always start with the small one. Then I have some paper and a pencil. An easy way to determine where the holes are, because if you're putting it on here, you can't see where the holes are, so you can't put any mark on the guard. So what you can do is hold a piece of paper against it and map the placement of the holes on this piece of paper. So that's what I normally do, and yeah, I will show you how I will do that. And then it should come out something like this. So you can see that the bolts are completely flush with the plastic, and that this edge of the pin that's being pushed through is falling into the plastic. Then we have an option to choose from. Here you see 3 dots. Those 3 spots are the minimum and the maximum where you can put your Holeshot device. This is the minimum, so your front suspension is less compressed, and this is the maximum, and that's then your suspension is most compressed, and they recommend to keep the Holeshot device between these 2 points. And what you can do to be able to see how far your suspension will compress, you can measure from each point to the top of your fork guard, and then you can measure from the top of your fork guard to the point where your pin of the Holeshot device is going in. For example, this is minimum. Your suspension will compress about this much. This is maximum, so your suspension will compress this much. So that's quite a lot. It's almost to the half of the suspension. So the last time I had it on there, I had it between the bottom 2 marks. I quite liked that, so I'm just going to put it in the same spot again. So yeah, let's start with marking out the holes from the Holeshot device, and then we can determine where we need to put the holes. I'm just going to cut a little square paper, and then we're going to try to hold this in the middle and push the paper around from the inside out without turning it, of course. To map the holes. And that should do the job. As you can see, we have mapped it out completely. It's very close, and we can use this to put it on the fork guard. So now that we have this stencil for the correct placement of the Holeshot device, the next step is we're going to drill 1 hole from the inside out for the middle of the Holeshot device. Then we have the middle of the device on the right height, and then we can use this to place it in the correct spot. I'm doing that because when you want to drill from the inside, you get hung up between the sides sometimes, but because the drill is a little bit big, so it's easier to drill from the outside and then only make the holes for the bolts conical from the inside. So let's drill 1 hole here for the middle of the Holeshot device. So I didn't film it, but there's the hole right in the middle of the 2 bottom dots, and now we can see it on the outside as well. So now I have made a hole in the middle of the stencil, and we are going to use that to line up the stencil with the fork guard. And I made some marks in the middle of the holes so that I know where to punch the holes into the fork guard. So just for now I'm going to use the back side of the caliper. That's a very sharp point. So I lined the stencil up with the hole in the fork guard, and I pushed it very tight around the fork guard. So now I'm just going to punch those holes with my calipers. Right in the middle. Make sure that you hold it the right way around, because the Holeshot device only fits on there one way. So this one is horizontal, not vertical. You see, it can't fit like that, it fits like this. Now I have punched those holes through, and we can drill them. So I'm first using a 3mm drill, and the holes of the bolts are 5mm, and the hole of the middle part 10mm, so 1 centimeter. Now we're going to drill the holes. Now we're first going to make this hole 10mm, so this part fits through, and then we can see if the other holes line up correctly. So I'm not immediately going to drill it to 10mm. I'm first going to use 5mm, 7.5, 8.5, and 10. Then I'm going to use the conical drill to smoothen the edges. So now it fits perfectly through. You can see it is completely flush, and around this side as well. So now we can focus on the holes for the bolts. So as far as I can see, they are lined up perfectly. Yeah, it's very difficult to see here on camera. So I'm just going to drill the holes through and see if we can, with 5mm, the width of the bolts, and then we can see if we can fit them through. I don't have a drill bit 5, that's very nice. So I'm just going to use 4.5 and then move it around a bit, or maybe use 5.5. So as far as I can see, with 4.5 we're still lined up correctly. So I'm just going to drill 5.5 in there now, and then the bolts should fit through. Looks very good. So now I'm going to use the conical drill. And now we hope that it fits. As far as I can see, everything needs to fit. So we need an Allen key for this. So let's see if we can mount all the bolts in there. That one fits. And if you don't tighten them immediately, so you just put them a little bit in there, you have some room to play around with the Holeshot device. Then you can make sure that first all the bolts are in, and then tighten them, because it's in now and I can still move it around, so I can line up the holes. And the last one. Okay, all fit in there. So now I'm going to try to make them flush. I think I need to get a little bit more plastic out of the way with the conical drill. Yeah, maybe a little bit, especially for this one. Okay, let's do that. So I got the bolts out and now I'm going to drill it a little bit further. You need to make sure that you're not pushing too hard, otherwise you go through the material. That's why I'm drilling very slowly, and I can always immediately stop when I feel that it grabs the plastic. So let's see if we can fit it like this. So now I can just tighten them and they should be all flush. Just like that. And now they are underneath the plastic and they won't catch the front suspension and damage the front suspension, so that's good. And it works. It's nice and straight as well. So yeah, let's place it on the bike and then we can align the top part of the Holeshot device. So now we're going to place the fork guard back on the suspension. I like to do that with the KTM tool, just so you're not putting too much force on those bolts, because the bottom part of your suspension is aluminium, so you can damage the thread quite easily. So now we want to line the top part of the Holeshot device up with the bottom part, and we're going to do that by loosening up the top part so it can turn around. And then we're going to make sure that we activate the Holeshot device. So we're going to push this in and it will catch this gap. And that will make sure that it put it in the right spot. And then we're going to tighten it. So first we're going to loosen this one up one by one. Otherwise you will break the thread. And like this, it can move and rotate. And when we are pushing this pin into place, this top part will settle and go into the right spot. But before we do that, we will look from the front and make sure that it is lined up already a little bit. Otherwise it won't catch the hole. So I think we're pretty close now. So now we're going to apply the Holeshot device. So now we applied the Holeshot device and we're going to tighten these bolts a little bit. So now I tightened these bolts a little bit so the top of the Holeshot device stays aligned with the bottom of the Holeshot device. Then we're going to take the Holeshot device off and then we're going to loosen these bolts a little bit so we make sure that it's not under pressure on the front suspension. So yeah, let's do that now. So the bike is back on the lift and the top of the Holeshot device and the bottom of the Holeshot device are completely aligned because we engaged it. And now we're going to loosen up these two bolts and we hold the Holeshot device in place. Now it's completely loose, so in theory we could turn it again, but then we messed the alignment up. So what we're going to do now is only push it as far down as we can to make sure that it's straight on the front suspension and not at an angle. So it's completely down now. And then we're going to tighten both bolts again. Not too tight, otherwise you damage the thread. So in this way the Holeshot device is correctly placed and nicely aligned and ready for use for the next race. So in this video I showed you how to mount a Holeshot device on the dirt bike. If you like this type of content, check my channel out, and I have lots of rebuilds videos of my KTM 250. So maybe you can learn something from it. And yeah, if you like this video, make sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel. The next video will most likely be a riding video. A riding video of me racing the bike. So I will be using the Holeshot device as well. So yeah, if you want to see that and stay up to date with those videos, make sure to hit the notification bell. So thanks for watching, and as always, see you next time.